Yo, Big Baby JTV, like, comment, sub. Road to 1K, man. I appreciate everybody who's taking the time out to check out this channel, man. You know, we come a long way. Still got ways to go, though. YouTube can't stop nothing. Nobody can stop nothing. The haters can't stop nothing. Join me on Patreon if you want to get my raw, unfiltered videos. YouTube was lame enough to remove one of my recent videos, but it is what it is. YouTube got to do their thing, and I'm going to do mine, all right? But let's get into it, man. Freddie Gibbs, Gangsta Gibbs, right? Versus Jim Jones, Vamp Light, Dipset, right? Now, if you've been out of the loop, right, Freddie Gibbs and Jim Jones have had a beef that goes back essentially to the early or mid 2000s, really, right? Where Jim Jones was really pushing that vamp life, you know? And that was his brand, that was his whole thing, right? And basically what happened is because of this whole vamp life, you know, Freddie Gibbs had an issue with it because if you know anything about Freddie is a vice lord. You know, he's a vice lord from Gary, Indiana. And Gary, Indiana is next to Chicago. And if you go back, because Gibbs, I believe, is 40 or late 30s, right? If you go back to his era in the 90s, late 80s, even today, really, you know, Gary, Indiana was not for play, man. They were shooting, they were killing. It was the hood. It was the block, really. You know what I mean? To the point where it was basically what Chicago is, right? It was crazy. So, you know, Freddie Gibbs felt offended that Jim Jones was pushing VL, you know, which is Vice Lord. Really, you know what I mean? A gang in, you know, the Midwest. So basically what happened is that when Freddie Gibbs came to New York, apparently some of Jim Jones's goons or his people, because Jim Jones, as some of y'all may know, he's a blood. So, you know, this is all public knowledge. I'm not snitching. So what's happening is that Freddie Gibbs was in New York. Some of Jim Jones' people started shooting at him, right? And that caused an issue. They didn't get Freddie. But then this beef sparked up again 2 days ago in Miami, right? Both of them were in Miami because everybody's in Miami because of this stupid Rona. Anyways, so Jim Jones is in Miami at Prime 112 in Miami, popular, famous restaurant. And he links up and sees Freddie's crew, right? So then the beef starts. They started talking. Both got in some kind of fight. You know what I'm saying? They were talking greasy. They got in a fight. And it seems, at least from the reports, that Freddie Gibbs and his crew got the beats. They got beat up, apparently, right? Now, where does DJ Academics come into this? Ac has a long-standing beef with Freddie Gibbs, so much so that they don't only just roast each other on the internet. Apparently, Freddie Gibbs snitched on Academics to Instagram, and Instagram took down Academics' Instagram page, which is his moneymaker, really. You know what I mean? This beef got even more personal when less than 2 weeks ago, Freddie was on the radio saying, hey, I'm willing to box Academics. And Academics verbally agreed on the 50,000 podcasts that he's on. So these dudes want to see each other in real life. They want to see each other in real life. And yesterday, Academics was going on some kind of victory lap, grading a funny video. Yeah, it was hilarious. Where he's going off about how, you know, Freddie is a bitch and how he's not a real gangster and how Freddie is, all his family members is in law enforcement. Oh, yeah, Jim Jones gave him the beats. Basically, Academics was bragging on behalf of Jim Jones, right? And you see, this is my problem with Ac, bro. This is my problem with Ac. He talks so tough, but he can never back it. He talks so greasy, but he can never back it. He talks so tough, but he's the first one to hide his tail. I remember, right? And I keep on bringing this example, and I'm going to keep on bringing it. I remember when Academics was on Clubhouse and all them people, mostly led by Meek Mill, were going in on Ak about how he is so disrespectful to the culture, right? And for me, I'll tell you this, I'm be real. I'm an Academics fan, but he does not only some trolling, but some grimy, greasy ish that he says. And when he did the war in Chirac, granted, he stopped doing it. Granted, he, pivoted and was not really covering the drama like that. But the way that Academics is, he talks incredibly greasy, fans the flames, because what he did with that video he released yesterday, he was fanning the flames. He was inciting more beef between Jim Jones and Freddie Gibbs. He was talking so greasy about Freddie Gibbs, right? And if Freddie even confronted him, he would fold, like anything you've ever imagined folding. You know what I'm saying? So back to the Meek Mill example. Meek Mill on Clubhouse was pressing Ak. Ak was backing up, retreating, being real apologetic. You find out a few days later that Academics had called the police because Ak was scared for his life, because he was scared that Meek would run up on him, which is sad, bro. Which is sad. If you are going to talk reckless, right? Same way you talk to my son, same way you talk to Freddie Gibbs online, or the way you talk about him in your videos. If you are gonna talk that greasy, stand on it like a fucking man. Don't be a little bitch. Stand on it like a man, okay? And if you're scared of Meek Mill possibly, jamming you up and the Dream Chasers chasing after you, then what happened when little weak, not so big, not so tough, Chicago dude pulled up on you, man? You know what I mean? How are you so weak when this dude pulled up on you? Okay, I don't even remember the nigga name, but he's from Chicago and he pulled up on you and you're acting big time. You know what I'm saying? Vic Mensa. There you go, Vic Mensa. Why were you acting tough when Vic Mensa was on your ass? Right? And I'm not saying that, Freddie Gibbs is the biggest gangster of all time, because it doesn't really matter. But if you are, being weak with Vic Mensa, really, who's never heard a fly, imagine what some guys who are even affiliated would do to you. You talk all kind of greasy, all kind of tough, but when the consequences come, you fold and tuck your tail. Right? You're on Fresh and Fit going at these women, and when one of them starts to buck up and pulls out a Glock, you're trying to hide to the side like a little bitch. Sad, man. And I say this as a DJ Academics fan. I'm not here to hate on him. I'm a fan of his. I'm actually an even bigger fan of Freddie Gibbs, right? But we need to be careful as people who are in the media, man. If you're going to say something, you have to be 1,000% ready and willing to say it in person to that person's face, okay? Because if you talk reckless and hide yourself, you're going to end up like what happened to Charlamagne the God. Can I get a drop? Where dudes confronted him in front of his office building, right? You're going to end up like Joe Budden, dude who alienates everybody in his team and nobody wants to work with him because he's a greasy guy. You know what I mean? But anyways, man, I still think Freddie Gibbs won the beef. Let me know what y'all think. Longer video, Big Baby JTV, and I'm out, bro.